2026 Todd Group Annual Australasian Course 30th Anniversary. The first year the international attendees combined with NZ exponents, proponents and instructors course was conducted was 1996. This course was brought about by requests from national and international individual exponents wanting to come to HQ and train and test the European military close combat way. We had to cut applications off for the inaugural Australasian course in 1996, some weeks out before the course, as we had a capacity muster. 14 candidates passed the Phase 1 basic testing on the final day of the course, and this is an extremely high number for any course even today. All applicants and attendees back then on the inaugural Australasian course were males from throughout New Zealand and Australia. The courses will have been conducted annually in March 2026 for 30 years, and now the course title is the Annual Australasian Course, as attendees are predominantly from New Zealand and Australia. However, it is open to all countries, individual exponents that meet our responsible citizen course joining conditions and requirements. The recruiting intention is to attract practical hands-on realists that are serious about learning and upskilling in our European military self-defense and European military close combat. Some of the 1996 course attendees went on to be depot instructors and chief instructors in their countries. The attendees on the inaugural 1996 course come from wide-ranging backgrounds, with some attendees being practitioners of traditional fighting arts and others being involved in competitive fighting arts. There were some that come from various services and even a close protection specialist. There were others involved in the security industry, including doormen and bouncers. Many informed us they had been looking for real military, close combat and military self-defense long-term, and others had been involved in and tried out other styles of traditional fighting arts-based self-defense and unarmed combat, and their seeking of true military self-defense and close combat led them to this inaugural course. Most were a very different type of person to those looking for Eastern fighting arts-based styles, and post-course the general consensus was they had never seen such training as they had undertaken on this annual inaugural course before. They had found out how different our European MIL CQC was, and how it was less about physical prowess and more about the size of the heart of the combatant, and they also learnt never to judge a book by its cover. Most were very honest in how they had been thrown around and manhandled by individuals considerably smaller than themselves that had never done any training before, and this only motivated the practical realist types attending this inaugural Annual Australasian course of instruction. Considerable number of attendees went on to achieve rank and some instructor qualified, and many of them are still proponent members today in high standing. Most were very honest in application and post-course, in the fact of the matter being it was the military, and especially military elite European origins, self-defense and armed and unarmed combat that attracted them to this course. Over the years, this annual course has been attended by PERS from all over the world: the UK, US, Canada, Europe, Southeast Asia, Polynesia and Australasia. Courses have included visiting allied instructors, a lot of them that had attended and come up through the ranks in their countries on military, armed and unarmed combat courses. As the years went on, some of the annual Australasian courses were conducted in conjunction with the Close Combat Instructors Association gatherings and training provision, as well as being combined with previously our 80th and 90th anniversaries. So many top lads and lasses have been identified, trained, tested and proven on these courses of instruction. To a degree, they are very different to our combat sports school and fighting arts practitioners. They very much understand that the Dirty Tricks Brigade practices give them the best chance of defeating a formidable foe. And most, although enjoy combat sports, are not interested in competition or practicing traditional fighting arts. It is the combat that they seek. They very much enjoy training the European military close combat way and accept the challenges of training and testing, including the hard, heavy, and hostile aspects, as they expect the training and testing to be demanding, challenging, and know, as practical realists, there are no easy ways in the real world of combating or countering battlefield violence or urban violence, where often it is the underdog that is targeted by thugs. There are a range of reasons why individuals attend our courses. Some simply because they want to know how to effectively protect themselves and their family or friends. Others have aspirations to become an instructor in our European military, armed and unarmed combat, and military self-defense. They understand that to achieve promotion, rank, and advancement, they must pass testing phases. And not all attendees are up for the challenges of testing, but Phase 1 basic training provides combat and counter skills, as well as self-defense skills to neutralize both unarmed and non-ballistic weapons armed threats. And those that do not volunteer for testing will leave the course or continue training in the most important Phase 1 basic packages, which include all the foundation fundamentals and skills capabilities to neutralize the most probable and common urban violence threats. If we were to qualify those that had not tested, we would not be able to maintain our highest required standards. And this is the way it has always been and must always be. Attendees on these intensive courses come from wide-ranging military services, as well as law enforcement and close protection squads. In later years, the Annual Australasian course and another NZ exported course was a combined military PERS and Civi exponents course with both military and Civi attendees requiring to pass testing for advancement and to achieve qualifications. On some past courses, we have had small groups of same traditional fighting arts styles practitioners and even Indigenous styles practitioners attending the courses. In recent years, this annual course has included law enforcement specialist groups combined with our Phase 3 specialist proponents undergoing specialised protective training. Over the years, International Close Combat Instructors Association members, including Barry Rice, Larry Jordan, Johnny Whip, Blue Curran, and many others, have been part of these Annual Australasian courses, and attendees very much respect and enjoy having them there to observe and assist with their training. On the 80th anniversary Annual Australasian combined gathering, along with visiting International Close Combat Instructor Association members, the Baldock family were in attendance as VIP guests, and Harry Baldock's sons, David and Peter, were guest speakers at the 80th anniversary. Over the years, we started to get females attending not only HQ training, but also Annual Australasian courses, and some of these female candidates on the grueling Phase 1 basic testing passed, while their male counterparts failed to achieve the objectives and were removed from testing phases. In the early years, training and testing was conducted at Todd Group HQ, formerly the Baldock Institute. That is until we secured our camp at Berwick, close to the Dunedin Airport. The camp has open fields and native bush on the over 200 acres that make up Camp Todd. Camp Todd has become a big part of the Annual Australasian course, with its large mess hall, World War II, army huts and barracks block accommodation, combined with the diverse environment for training it provides. The serious Civi enthusiasts on course enjoy living MIL CQC and MSD the military close combat way. The outdoors, training fields, swamped, bushline, and under the native bush canopy provide some realistic and challenging training environments that enhance combatants' capabilities. Although the training packages required to be undertaken by all attendees are very much the same, not one course is exactly the same as another, and often auxiliary training is conducted to ensure attendees are capable of adapting to unfamiliar environments, sudden aggressive shock actions on situations, including not only daylight training, but also dark night training. Dark of night, sneaky boots courses and battle handling exercises, either under the moonlight or with minimal artificial light, are both challenging, character building, and skills capabilities enhancing. CQC battle lanes under the native bush canopy or around the buildings and facilities at Camp Todd, including along the bush line, prepare exponents for both expected and unexpected actions on situations where all threats must be neutralized by means of the instructed skills on course. Auxiliary training and testing has included some unique means and methods over the years. On one such course, on day one, a former Elite Forces medic and Vietnam veteran instructed close combat, actions on wounds and injuries, first responder training. Then, unbeknown to candidates on day 6, on phase 1 basic testing, staged medical emergencies took place and they were ordered to, as first responders, treat the casualties. There were some realistic looking wounds using the trachea out of a deer, realistic looking stab and slash wounds, a simulated knee joint dislocation, neck injuries, concussion, and the like had to be dealt with by candidates that were pumping adrenaline while being overseen by their day 1 Elite Forces Vietnam veteran medic instructor. Camp Todd is also the training base for the first week of the Specialist Close Personal Protection dual country courses. Attendees undergo required training and practice in skills that they will utilize after the first week at Camp Todd when they fly out on a long-haul flight to Thailand, the Todd Group International Hub country, for over 35 years, and undergo further training as well as training exercises, land-based, maritime, rail, and road. Time permitting, we conduct Self-Minder short courses for members at Camp Todd. Self-Minder courses are hands-on, less specialist than close personal protection courses, but often are used to protect vulnerable people, those at risk, and minders have to be flexible, innovative, and pay attention to every detail. On such short courses, they learn skills like hard protection, hard targeting of those under their protection, and hard protecting security measures. They also learn methods of detecting intruders, reading the signs, and preventing, or as a last resort, intervention. Other short courses, like the D-War, Declare War Against Rape, methods of prevention or countermeasures against serious predatory sexual violence, are conducted at Camp Todd. Detainee handling skills, defensive tactics for security and law enforcement, with this component often being instructed, time permitting, on the Annual Australasian course of instruction, as well as the Dark Night Sneaky Boots courses. Such practices can be included on Phase 1 basic testing, along with candidates being hooded and moved from location to location, then de-hooded in the face of an actions-on threat, having to make real-time, fast mapping assessments and employ correct and best threat neutralization. Hoods are also used, so exponents or candidates have to use other sensors combined with hard cover guard protection skills to neutralize enemy threats. On some courses, pugil poles are used to develop expedient combat actions and counter-engagement evasive actions. Pugil poles are training tools for teaching bayonet combat. They also can be used to prepare exponents for close contact impact, especially under toughener and sickener training. Bayonet actions on with pugil poles as part of Phase 1 basic testing can be used and demand candidates' attention to detail, fast mapping, assessment and decision making, and deliberate threat neutralization actions on skills initiation and executions. Camp Todd has a waterway swamp that has been used under Phase 1 basic testing on Annual Australasian courses, where candidates have to deal with the realities of mud and water, reduced expedient actions, and employ skills to maximise stability as part of enemy threat neutralisation. The different phases of training on the Annual Australasian course are transported into Todd Group HQ, where they undergo training with HQ training members, as well as get the opportunity to look around the old HQ that we moved into in 1938, and now includes a history room with a lot of military allied close combat exhibits. The true and serious practitioners of our European military close combat and military self-defense relish the chance to take in the atmosphere and history at Todd Group HQ. Todd Group HQ also includes our combat sports school, where visiting exponents and proponents can go in and train under head coach Caleb Stephen. The combat sports school was originally set up by Harry Baldock and includes freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling, catch and kill wrestling, and was one of the first jiu-jitsu schools in New Zealand, as this was part of Harry's familiarisation with enemy fighting arts. We have produced many champions in different combat sports codes, including kickboxing, MMA, grappling, and boxing over the past 99 years. In the past 20 years, with our MSD and MCQC taking up all available time and dates for training and courses, the Combat Sports School is now operated by our head coach, Caleb Stephen, who is also a Phase 2 Advanced CQC MSD exponent. The Annual Australasian course attracts advanced and specialist members every year to ensure they are current in the most primary practices. We have 2 busy years coming up, with the 30th anniversary of the Annual Australasian course in 2026 and our 100th centennial celebrations in 2027. The Annual Australasian course provides around the equivalent of 12 months of weekly scheduled depot HQ training in 1 week, and this is why many of our busy members prefer to undertake the week-long intensive course over doing weekly 1 or 2 hour sessions. Week-long intensive courses training the European military CQC way provide considerably more continuous time for the introduction of skills, learning of skills, practicing and drilling of skills, and as such reduce skill fade and increase continuous training benefits. There are wide-ranging reasons why individuals attend our Annual Australasian courses of instruction, ranging from simply wanting to learn how to defend themselves by means of military self-defense and military close quarters combat, to identifying the differences between traditional based skills they've learnt before and European based CQC and MSD. And there are others that want to accept the challenges of testing, achieving rank, promotion and advancement, and with some undertaking assistant instructor and instructor under assessment qualifications training. Surprisingly, after a week-long intensive course of instruction, it is often those with no previous training that volunteer for testing and achieve testing passes, with others that have had considerable long training backgrounds, including instructors, not accepting the challenges of volunteering for Phase 1 basic testing. For serious enthusiasts of European military close quarters combat and military self-defense, undertaking a week-long intensive course of instruction like the Annual Australasian course is a very good way to kick off their training in our systems, gaining maximum hours in 1 block course and the benefits that come with training the military CQC way. Attendees need to be able to take orders, instructions, and fulfill requirements, achieving objectives to the best of their ability. They can train at a pace commensurate with their physical capabilities and mental makeup, and will, in doing so, learn the skills, and simply by, as they gain competency and proficiency, increasing the momentum and intensity will increase in capability. Attendees, after completing CQC Code of Conduct contracts, must understand that they need to respect the chain of command and respect all their training partners, enemy party, instructors, and everyone involved with the course conducting. There are lifelong friendships forged on these annual Australasian courses, with members keeping in touch and meeting up on courses going forward, very much enjoying the camaraderie and the environment where nothing is that sacred and there is less concern about PC, but more concern about combat, commitment, dedication, and the achievement of competency and capabilities. While attendees course join for different reasons, and being a volunteer course can train at a level that fits their mental and physical makeups, including standing back and observing modules or components that they feel they are not up to partaking in, all exponents must understand there are no easy, soft ways, and the only way to achieve competency and capability is by hands and boots on participation, striving for being the best exponent one can be. Training in our MSD and CQC is a very individual undertaking, with individual exponents achieving an enabling level and then a testing level in different time frames. And it is important that all attendees are practical realists and can identify their strengths and weaknesses, and as such, know when they are ready for testing and advancement, and only volunteer when they are ready. The CQC high achievers are the quietly confident types, selfless types that are dedicated and fully commit to being the best exponent and testing candidate they can be. They prove themselves not in words, but in their actions. Such high-level exponents and proponents often assist on our training team, and they're very much prepared to put back in some of the assistance they were given by their instructors and other exponents and proponents when they were coming up through the ranks. These serious types continue training for various reasons. Some want to be career instructors and establish their own depots in their locations, while others want to work as contract instructors, being part of our training team. Some want to return to their country of origin and establish themselves as instructors to government services as well as to the general public in their countries. Some attendees are active operators that return whenever they can to ensure they remain current in the latest and most proven primary skills. They all have been reminded of our founder, the late Sergeant Major Harry Baldock's words in CQC training is a task to be continued, not a project to be completed, and as such they never rest on their laurels, but always strive for CQC excellence. This year's 30th anniversary Annual Australasian course is yet another year for new entry exponents to kick off their training in the only private specialist European military close combat facility of its origins and type, and with its lineage to some of the evolutionary pioneer master chief instructors in our tradecraft. The Annual Australasian course of instruction consists of all three phases of training: Phase 1 Basic, Phase 2 Advanced, and Phase 3 Specialist, being conducted simultaneously at Camp Todd, with the Phase 3 starting before the Phase 2 and the Phase 2 starting before the Phase 1 group. All phases will be in attendance for the final part of the course, that being the Phase 1 Basic testing, which very much comes back to selfless types putting back in some of what they were given to assist others in the achievement of passing phase tests, achieving rank, promotion, and advancement. Our training provision modus operandi is very much about being a small, close, tight group of individuals that selflessly commit to their own training and the support of others' training. How time has passed so quickly, with this year being the 30th anniversary of the Annual Australasian course and 2027 being our centenary anniversary of our European MIL Self-Defence and MIL CQC training provision establishment. What does it take to achieve in our MIL, CQC and MSD? Willingness to strive for self-improvement, dedication and commitment, self-respect and respect for everyone else involved, being quietly confident and not an excuse maker or quitter, making one's actions speak for themselves, not having hidden agendas or alternative motives, wanting to be part of the oldest and only private specialist training provision organisation of our basic, advanced and specialist training programs. Those that course join with the smarts and all others will learn how important it is to be a practical, hands-on realist and be able to identify and know what are primary safe and effective threat neutralisation practices and what are not. All course joining participants and Todd Group members must understand that training in our European military elite close combat is a privilege and not a given right, and all members are only as secure as their dedication, commitment, attitudes, and they must be of integrity, be responsible, as any breaking of our CQC codes of conduct could see them binned, and with no other providers of our complete systems, their training days would be over. So training at HQ, depots, on short courses, intensive courses, including the Annual Australasian course under the control of the Todd Group, Master Chief Instructor and Master Instructors, comes with responsibilities and requires proper and safe practices, self-control, and striving for one's personal close combat best. Those that are not fit for or cut out to train and test the MIL CQC training and testing way must think before they apply, as there is nowhere to hide on courses and all weaknesses and negative traits will be identified. Similarly, those that do not want to train at what we call the last bastion of positive bastardization need not apply. For those that are prepared to commit to our close combat and military self-defense training, you will achieve increase in competency and capability, and importantly, will develop confidence in yourself and in your capabilities to threat neutralize. Through dedication, commitment, and striving for self-improvement, you will find your place as part of the oldest private specialist European MSD and CQC global training provision organisation. If this sounds like it is the training you have been seeking and that you are committed to achieving in, then simply go to toddgroup.com and apply to course join the Annual Australasian course March 2026. It is important you do this as early as possible to ensure there is an available position for you. And remember, you can train at a level commensurate with your physical capabilities and mental makeup for the reasons you choose to. You can also step back and volunteer any aspects of the training that you consider outside your capabilities. And finally, remember, not everyone volunteers for testing, and it is a volunteer undertaking. It is important that you understand that the application and vetting process is strict and to the point, and must be, as we do not want to train the wrong people, those that may misuse or abuse the skills, and we take our responsibility as private specialist training providers of our military, elite, close combat and military self-defense very seriously. Our rank and file do not want to train alongside those that are not fit for training, that have alternate agendas or motives, or those that are not safe in training or could bring the organisation into disrepute or cause individual members issues. Anyone that is not a law-abiding citizen of integrity, that is not applying for the right reasons and is not prepared to accept orders and follow instructions and train in a safe and proper manner need not apply.